Hey guys, my name is Svetlana, and together we're gonna stop overthinking. Right about, now. Hi, my little overthinkers, or should I say, big overthinkers, since you clicked on this video. Apparently, all of us have this problem. And when I say problem, overthinking is more like a madness. So, yeah, technically all of us should be sectioned and hospitalized. But since we're not, let's learn how to stop overthinking or control it, or just try to live a sane life for once and not let our thoughts control our lives, right? So if you're on board, let's hop into it, right? I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I would have had this video up a week ago, but guess what? Someone, aka yo, guilty, overthought. And yes, I know I'm making this video to tell you not to overthink, but guess what? It happens to all of us. And hey, let's jump into step number 1, acceptance. You have to accept the fact that yes, you're gonna have thoughts. Yes, you're gonna fall into the trap of overthinking. But it's up to you to notice those thoughts and stop them. And how do you do that? You ask yourself, well, if I knew, I wouldn't be clicking on this video, right? So let me tell you. 1, you have to become aware of your thoughts. You have to become the observer. And how do you become the observer of your thoughts? You have to realize that you are not your thoughts. That's a false identity. You're not your thoughts, you're not your emotions, right? Once you realize that, once you become the observer of your thoughts, once you separate that, you guys, everything becomes so much more clear. So once a thought arises, you can notice it, and notice it without judgment. You notice it, you go, okay, you accept it. It's a thought. Accept that it came into your head. But what you don't do, but what you do not do is feed into it. Because guess what? What does our mind love? It loves thought. It loves the train of thought. It loves endless storylines. It loves that never-ending process of randomness. So what we want to stop is feeding it. Because basically what we're doing is feeding into the mind. What you want to do is stop feeding it scenarios. Notice the thought. Be aware of the thought. And it also helps a lot to practice meditation. Where does meditation come in? It helps you be more present. It helps you be in the now. That way, once you're in the now, once you're aware of everything that's happening, once you're centered, once a thought arises, it's easy for you to notice it. It arises, you notice the thought, you notice the emotion that comes up, because you don't want to push everything down. That's not what we're here to do. We're not here to ignore it. We're not here to suppress anything, for God's sakes. Please don't. Been there, done that. Personal experience, never suppress emotions or thoughts. That's a different video. It's a heavy boy, so that's definitely in the future. So what we want to do is notice it, be aware of it. No judgment, remember, we're just observers. We're sitting back, we're a fly on the wall. We go, oh, okay, that's a thought. I appreciate it. And get back to being in the now. You don't need to feed it. You don't need to put more emotions into. You don't need to feel defiant, right? I saw it as like a little flame. It arises, it flickers, and if you don't throw gasoline at it, it will die down. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying not to feed into it. Once you become the observer, you notice the thought comes and goes, comes and goes, comes and goes, right? We think 70,000 thoughts a day. So we're basically living in our minds. You see, we are giving our mind full control and we don't even realize it. So what we want to do is take back control, get rid of that false identity that we think is our mind, the voice inside our head. Oh, that's me. Those are my values. Those are my... No, none of that. Stop. Calm down. Sit down. Work on your ego. That is also going to help. Do some shadow work. Tone it down. And then take a breath and start living in the now. Through meditation also, you build self-trust. Not only self-trust, you build trust in the universe. Why is that important, Svetlana, for not overthinking? Oh, good question, Svetlana. Thank you. It's good because once you gain self-trust in yourself and the universe, in your higher being, higher consciousness, then you know that whatever step you take in life is the right step, right? That way you stop overthinking. And it's like, okay, well, if there's options A or B, instead of overthinking, you start trusting your intuition. You start trusting your choices. And once you fully accept and trust the decision that you're making is the right one, then there's absolutely no need to overthink anymore. Then you'd be crazy to start overthinking if you're so certain and you believe in your core that the decision that you're making is going to lead you on your path and everything's going to turn out great, and you trust every choice that you ever make. There's no more room for overthinking and crazy scenarios that come into our head. Fear goes away, stress goes away, anxiety goes away. And what are you left with? Inner peace. And that, my friends, that's the real magic. That's the real present that you get once you stop overthinking. You discover inner peace, and it's crazy. It's this feeling that everything is flowing in the right direction, because it is, obviously, but you just have to believe it, realize it, accept it, trust, and then you stop overthinking and worrying. Oh, what if this, what if that, what if, because there is none of that, right? There is only the now. And what can you control? You can only control your thoughts. So instead of worrying about things that are external and things that you have no power over, focus on your mind. Gain control of your mind, because that's where the real power lies, right? We live in a very heavy mind-dominated culture. So we are very programmed to overthink, to just live in our head. And that's what we're trying to get rid of here. We're trying to go within, start listening to our intuition, start trusting ourselves and the universe, and stop letting go of control. Surrendering, basically. And I'm not talking about, oh, just lay down, surrender, wait for stuff to happen. No, that's not how life works. right? I'm talking about surrender to the now, to the present moment. Accept what you have. Gratitude, practice gratitude. That's one of the most important things. I suggest waking up and having a list that you can go through, and it just sets you up for the day. That way you focus on the good, and your mind is no longer trying to find things, negative things, because it always is doing that. It's always looking for problems. It's always looking for drama. It always wants to feed. It needs to be fed. And we're going to stop feeding that little fire. We're going to stop saying, no, hey, listen, I've been feeding you for X amount of years, you know? You're massive. I can't breathe. You're suffocating me. I can't live inside my head anymore. And you get to that point where you want to take control of your mind because it does nothing for you. We're cutting out everything that doesn't serve us anymore. And overthinking does not serve you. It brings anxiety, stress, depression, God knows, the list goes on and on, right? So, once again, what am I saying when I'm saying surrender? I'm not saying lie down and be like, oh, that's it. Surrender. I'm saying stop thinking about the past. Stop thinking about the future. Is the future here or the past there? Oh, guess what? It doesn't matter which way you point because the past and future doesn't really exist. But once again, that's a whole other video because all we have is now. There's no past, there's no future. All we have is now, right? So here's one of the most important things to remember. There's 3 things you can do about your thoughts, right? Like I said, there's no past, there's no future, there is only the now. So if you're thinking of something obsessively and you can't let it go, 3 things, you guys, 3 things. Either accept the situation you're in fully and be like, okay, well, this is it. This is what is happening. There's nothing you can do about it. And come to peace with it, right? Yeah, acceptance fully. 2, change it. Do something about it physically instead of just thinking in your head. Change it, right? Try to change it, but act, do, right? Put motion, put energy into change. So we got acceptance fully, and I mean fully. Sit back and be like, okay, this is my life situation. Whatever is in your head, you're like, I accept it. Come to terms with it and let it go, right? Because overthinking is feeding on the fact that you're uncertain. It's always the uncertainty, right, that we're thinking about. And by accepting it, we're getting rid of the option. And by changing it, you're doing something about it. And 3rd is remove yourself from the situation, right? Remove yourself from the situation. Remove yourself from the situation, change it, or fully accept it. But you gotta do one of those. You can't just sit there and think, because with thinking comes indecisiveness. With indecisiveness comes confusion, stress, anxiety, self-blame game. And do you see what I'm talking about? It's a never-ending storyline that you're feeding your brain, your mind. And that is horrible. That keeps you in your mind. And that takes you away from the now. So you're not living your life. You're not living in mindfully. You're just living inside your head through these scenarios or through memories from the past that you've created, altered. So by getting rid of excess thinking and overthinking, you're able to be more present. you are at peace mentally, emotionally, and you're able to be in the now. You're able to enjoy the moment that you have. Because remember, all we have is the now, this moment, right? As soon as you start thinking, this moment is already a memory. So you have to be present in life. Don't let thoughts control you. And this video is all that I'm trying to accomplish here. It's just giving yourself that control that you deserve, it's your right to have, right? And it ends so much suffering. Actually, no, I think that's the main. That's why I want to make this video. That's why I am making this video. It's because I want people to stop suffering of anxiety, stress, what ifs, indecision, doubt. Doubt is a huge one. When you doubt your decisions, once again, it's just this spiral of things that affect you mentally and emotionally, but we can stop that. So you guys, I really hope this video helps. Even if you take away one thing from it, it's still alive. Start observing your thoughts little by little. Be the observer with no judgment. Remember, there's no blaming game. There's no pointing fingers. You're just observing and you're letting it go. Just passive, just swiping. Like on Tinder, like you're so used to, right? And guilty. But you guys, observe, become the observer. Meditate helps you to be in the present. Also helps you hear your intuition better, right? Surrender. You can change it, you can accept it, or you can remove yourself from the situation. You guys, I hope, I really do hope, if you clicked on this and you've got this far, that you learned something. And I highly recommend reading The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. It changes your life. It shifts your perspective. And remember, once your perspective shifts, your reality shifts, your world shifts. And it just opens up your consciousness, your awareness. And it's a beautiful awakening. So if you like this video, please like. If you like my face, subscribe. If you want to see more, tell me in the comments what kind of videos you like. So yeah, leave a comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell, do your thing. I'm trying to build a community of love, respect, open-minded, spiritual people that are working on inner growth, that are realizing there's more to life than living inside your brain. And I think that's what a lot of us have been doing or still doing. Once again, no judgment to myself, to others, no, but once you realize how toxic it is, and yeah, I'm gonna throw the T word, toxic. Other word is T-Rex. That's not toxic, that's the best dinosaur ever. But once you realize how toxic your thought patterns can be, it changes your whole mind. It changes the way you see the world. Once you notice a thought, you can stop it. Realize that it's toxic. It serves you nothing but grief and pain, and it brings you down to low vibrations. That's when growth starts. That's when you start to elevate. That's when you start to level up, right? And that's all we're trying to achieve in life, is to connect with our soul, our inner self. So thank you so much, you guys. I hope this helped. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, and until next time. Bye. breathe.